living good back in the woods.
Afternoon, guys. Dave Canterbury from Pathfinder School back with another Journal of the Yurt. What we're going to do today is we're going to continue doing a little bit of blacksmithing today, and we're going to make something that you don't have to have, obviously, but it makes things a little bit more convenient for you in the woods if you want to carry the weight. It is multifunctional. I'm going to show you how to make a tripod and squirrel cooker today. We're going to use our axe. I've got a 19-inch hunter's axe here that I carry a lot in my bedroll. And I don't want this system or this tripod to be any bigger than my bedroll, because that's where I plan on storing it when I'm walking through the woods on a scout or a hunt. So I'm going to use this for a measuring device to cut my pieces of cold rolled steel down to where I want them before I make my cooker. And we're going to get the wood stove fired up, get the bellows out, get the hammer out, put the anvil outside, and get after it. So stay with us, guys. Okay, so I've got a couple pieces of cold rolled steel here that I bought to use for these projects, and they weren't very expensive, a couple bucks. And the thing is, one of these tripods can run you anywhere from $28 to $35, $40, and I can make one for about $4. So that's what my plan is today. Now I need to measure this before I cut it off. Like I said, I don't want it to be any longer than this, but I'm also going to put an eye or two on here. So I'm going to make myself a mark here just a little bit, about the length of the anvil right there. And I'm going to keep my cold chisel right there and break that off. That's where I'm going to cut that off at. And I'll cut 3 pieces to that length. Okay, now this one here is just about right as it is, this cut off piece. So I'll probably just leave it. I can trim it later. I'm going to need one more that long as well. I'll make it the same length as the short one, which is right there. We'll cut it off. Let's remeasure that just to make sure we're right. Measure twice, cut once. That's what my granddad always said. And he was a carpenter, my great granddad. Okay, so the first thing we're trying to do is we're trying to flatten out one end of this. Okay, let's get that heated back up again. Okay, let's heat her up again. Okay, now while I'm heating this up, I've got a stump I'm sitting right here, so I can just get the end that I'm trying to heat up right down into the coals to get the air to it. Real windy day out today. Hope it's not destroying my video. We'll do the best we can, guys. Okay guys, now what we want to try to do is I want to try to put a little bit of a bend in this while it's hot, if we can. Not quite hot enough yet to do that. So we're going to have to get this end heated up again to do that. Well, I had to do this actual bend I had to do inside with the pliers. So on the next one, I'll show you what I did. And I want to flatten this back out again because I'm going to bend this back the other direction here in a minute. Now I just want to square this thing up. Get that curl on there, and that's really just decorative value. It really doesn't serve a purpose. Okay. Kind of smash that down a little bit. Now we'll heat this thing up and we'll bend it inside here in just a minute. Okay, so now we want to heat that whole straight area up right there that we've got flattened out. So let me rake some coals over top of that in that area, and we'll put the air to it. Get it heated up where we can bend it with a pair of pliers easy enough. We're just going to bend it with a pair of needle nose vice grips. Okay, here we go. This stuff is hot. It's a hot job. It's nice and windy out today, but it's still like 72 or 73 degrees, so it's probably 95 inside this yurt. I'd have to go look at the thermometer to tell you for sure, but this is a hot job. Something you want to be doing this kind of stuff you maybe on an autumn day or a fall day or something, you know, early spring. But once it starts to get warm, this stuff will dehydrate you fast, so you got to have plenty of water around. See what kind of color we got. Nope, not what we want. Let's get the coals up over top of that a little better and get some air to it here. Okay, let's see if we can put our bend in here real quick that we want on this end. In other words, we're going to make an eye in one end of this. I'll try to use the needle nose vice grips for this if I can. And all I'm trying to do is bend that to shape for the moment. That's not too bad right there. Okay, we'll heat that up again and we'll quench that. I have to think about that for a minute, which piece I want that to be before I decide to quench it. Stay with me, guys. Okay, I'm going to have to open this up just a little bit before I quench it. I don't want that hook completely closed because it's going to have to marry up with the others. I'm just going to kind of try to bend it around a little bit, but I'm going to leave it open just a shade. Not much, just enough to slide another pole in there. Okay. So this is what we got. Now, the other end of this needs to have a point on it. So once we get this cooled down, we got to heat the other end up and make a point. Okay guys, one more thing I plan on doing while I'm in here real quick is I got this package of eye hooks in some bargain bin for $1 for, I think there's 4 of them in there. And I'm going to utilize these, but to utilize them, I've got to heat them up. So let me get them hot and I'll show you what we're going to use them for. I'm just going to throw them in the coals and get them good and hot. I'll pick them out one at a time and manipulate them the way I need to use them for what we want. So I'm just going to put them in there and get some oxygen to them and get them heated up. And I'll show you what we're going to do with them in just a few minutes. Okay, I'm starting off by making this square, just like this, and then I'm going to draw the point out from that square. get her heated up again. Now, this point doesn't have to be real sharp. It just needs to be a point. I don't want to beat on it too much while it's cold, or I'll snap it off. Then I'm going to heat it up and quench it just to make it nice and strong. Nice and hard. I'll round it off just a little bit on the edges. Okay. Not too bad. Okay, that's not too shabby. Yeah, we'll just get that thing hot and we'll quench it. Then we got to make 2 more just like this. And one of them has to be slightly different. So I'll make one just like this first, and then we'll make the one that's different. Okay, now let's find our little hooks that we had. They should be in here getting nice and hot. There's one of them right there. They don't need to be overly hot for what I want to do to them. They just need to be malleable. Because what I want to do is I want to open this hook up just like that and leave the other one shut. So I've got this. All right. See if we can find another one in here. There we go. Again, I'm just going to grab a hold of it with these vice grips. Take these smaller ones, I'm going to bend this open. That one may not quite be hot enough yet. There. Nope. That one needs to be heated up more. Alright, well, let's pour some heat to them. We can do that. Okay, let's try this again. There we go, that one opened up real easy. Okay, I'm going to do that to all 4 of them. Okay, now on this third piece, we've kind of got to make it a little bit different than the other 2. If we plan to use this for a squirrel cooker, because we need to be able to balance our game or our meat. They call them squirrel cookers. It's more like a meat cooker. And most squirrel cookers had a fork on one end, but if you put a fork on one end, it's harder to use it for a tripod. It can still be done, but it's a little bit more of a pain. So I think we're just going to leave it pointed, and we can just stick the meat on there to cook it easy enough. But we've got to make this third piece a little different to support one spike to put meat onto to cook, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. We pretty much have exactly the same configuration as the last 2. It's just a little bit bigger as far as the loop goes. It's a little bit elongated, and we're going to bend it over, and we'll bend it over out here on our animal. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Now we'll get that quenched and we'll get our point on here. We've got our two main pieces done for our meat cooker, and basically you can see that this one just slides in here and the weight of the meat holds it over the fire. You would slide your meat over the top of this, whatever you were cooking, whether that be a squirrel, a piece of venison, whatever the case may be, it would go on here and be held over the top of the fire with this piece. So you just put this in, slide this piece through it, skewer your meat, and it's held by friction right there, just like that. And that's the premise of a quick and easy situation that you can use for cooking meat, and that only takes two pieces. Now, a third piece to this will make this just a little bit more versatile, and we'll show you that in just a minute. Okay guys, so here's the option that third piece now gives you, okay? Now I can take the bale that I showed you guys. We've got these coming on our website shortly. We had to order them, but they're available at Bass Pro Shops. It's just a spreader to open up a fish's mouth. I just punched a couple holes in the side of this stainless steel cup with a nail. Here's those hooks we talked about. All I did was slide those on. There's two of them there. Now I can hang my bale right from that hook, and I can set my stuff over the fire very easily like this and take it off the same way. Very easy, okay? Now the other thing that I can do here is I can take these two, drop one inside the other one like this, put them in the ground just like this, okay? Then I can take this one and slide it through here just like this, and if I put one of those hooks on my bale, I can make a tripod. Not a big deal, but I could also do the same thing with the squirrel cooker side of this thing. It just wouldn't be quite as stable probably if I did it that way. Put this in the ground and put this right over the top just like that. And I could do the same thing effectively, or I could just slide this bale right over the top just like this. And even if that's full of water, not going to hurt that too bad. So there's a lot of options with this simple piece of kit that you can use, and it's multi-purpose. It's fun to make, gives you practice making implements and blacksmithing, and that's what's important, is understanding these skills so that they're not lost and passing them on to our youth. All right guys, well, I'm Dave Canterbury. I appreciate you joining me for another Journal of the Yurt. I hope you guys enjoyed this short segment on blacksmithing a cook set today, or a squirrel cooker. I know that I sweated my butt off making it, but that's okay. That's what it's all about. That's fun, and that's how you learn, putting in the dirt time. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything that you do for me, my family, and my school. I'll be back with another video as soon as possible. Thank you guys.